What it is, Bo? What it is?
What's good? What's good? What's good, family? What's good? Listen, welcome to the greatest podcast on your social media. It's that time again for the Black and the Bold podcast. Listen, here you will hear some thought provoking, gut wrenching, and sometimes even tear jerking content that you just can't get enough of. We can't hold back no more. We got to jump right into the show. I'm the Bold, but let's get started. What's going on, brother Black? How you doing this evening?
What's up, man? What's up? What's up? It's the Black, otherwise known as Dwayne Johnson or DJ for those that grew up with me. Out of Lowndes County here, repping Georgia Tech out of the Atlanta area, electrical engineering major there, and went on to do better things up in the DC area where I met my wife, and we have three wonderful kids. Graduated with the University of Maryland, master's degree in management, specializing in project management. Then coming back down with the family, doing a lot of investing here and there, and we have now retired early. For those that are familiar with FIRE, FIR method, IRE, see I can't spell it. Call myself a Georgia Tech grad, but anyway, FIRE, financially independent, and retired early. So that's kind of where we sit, bro. Owning our own business, property management business, which we manage locally here in Valdosta, Lowndes County, Georgia. And that's about it, bro. Outside of that, it's like I said, it's all about the kids. Grateful for them to have a break at this point. And as they hop back into the winter time, we'll definitely look forward to our springtime with our kids now in sixth grade and ninth grade, with this one in fifth grade. The older two will definitely get ready for them to jump into that track season come spring. So look out for some big news out of that area. Passing on to you, Brother Bold.
Yes, sir. I am Brother Bo, Brother Mac, Valdosta native, also Lowndes High grad, University of Central Florida grad. Go Knights! Once a night, always a night. If you know, you already know. Bachelor's in Healthcare Administration, Master's in Public Administration. Dibbled and dabbled all around corporate America. Currently, right now, working in talent acquisition. Also, founder of the E3 Legacy Group here in Jacksonville. And on top of that, I'm just ready to take over the world, Pinky. We got a lot of stuff we got to do, so I'm just ready to get it done. But I just want to say happy Thanksgiving season to everybody that's on, watching, that will be with us. And listen, I'm just excited, ready to get things rolling. Got a lot to talk about, and we got a lot of feet and toes to step on tonight. So before we jump on, let them have it, beautiful. How you doing this evening?
I'm doing well, guys. I'm doing well tonight. I'm so ready for this Thanksgiving season because I really think not just me, but everybody has a lot to be thankful for this year. But I am Suzette Michelle, the beautiful component of this platform. And I bring you greetings from Valdosta, GA, Georgia, Peach in the house. And I'm a graduate of Lowndes High School. I'm a Viking. I'm a graduate of Valdosta Technical College, where I received my degree in radiologic technology. And I am so excited to be an entrepreneur this year. So I am kind of branching off in some uncharted territories for myself, but it's been a blessing to me on multiple levels. So I'm excited to do that. But tonight we're going to be talking about beans, greens, tomato, potatoes.
You
So
got it.
Thanksgiving, yeah, we
Right on point with that one.
so, as popular as that song is, we're gonna be talking about what components of that song we're gonna be cutting out. So, yeah. So I'm just excited to be talking about this in our effort to build this blueprint and your health is something that's very valuable to the blueprint because if you're not healthy, you
Sure.
know what I'm saying, that's a valuable commodity to have. Make sure that you're healthy and able to enjoy and able to execute the things that we are learning in the blueprint. So just happy to be here, guys. Let's get it, let's get it, let's get it, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, just
Yeah.
like Brother Bowles said, we might be stepping on some toes tonight. We might be stepping on some family members' toes, and it is what it is. We got to spread the truth. Sometimes it's about what you're exposed to so you can make a better decision. With that, let me just intro a little bit before we talk about, any of those details. But at the same time, I know you want to get into what's been going on with you personally during this time. An article by NPR.org intros as the following. Barbecue pork or fried chicken served with a heaping side of mac and cheese or creamy potato salad, sweet tea, and peach cobbler. Southern classics loaded with as much history as flavor have become comfort foods for Americans from all over. But a study published Tuesday, and let's see, what is this coming from? This is a 2018 article, so Tuesday in 2018. In the Journal of the American Medical Association suggests that Southern cuisine isn't serving African Americans whose ancestors imagined and perfected it very well. The Southern diet may be at the center of a tangled web of reasons why Black people in America are more prone to hypertension than white people. Researchers from the University of Alabama at Birmingham crunched data collected from nearly 7,000 men and women older than 55 living across the United States, not just in the South, over the course of a decade. Their goal was to figure out why Black Americans are greater risk for high blood pressure. And of course, over the course of the study, 46% of Black Americans versus 33% of white participants developed hypertension. And diet seemed to explain much of the disparity. So that's a little bit of the groundwork there. But I think it's no secret at any cost if you've been to the doctor or if you have any news worthiness about your awareness of what has been going on with diet and health. There's no secret that soul food and delight can be a big factor in that. Of course, exercise has a lot to do with that, but diet can make a huge difference. What do you say, crew?
Well, I mean, I think anything in moderation, but we all know um the undesirable term for our diet is called the slave diet. And because how it originated, we were getting the leftovers and anything basically we could salvage to use to create a meal. So that's where it originated from. But now we have no excuse, but we've become accustomed to those things being a traditional items on our menu, and unfortunately, it has taken its toll over the years in terms of our health overall. We've had what is considered now long-term illnesses. It has created some long-term illnesses. However, now we do know stress plays a factor in some of the illnesses, but our diet is the quickest way we can kind of reduce some of the effects of this long-term use of abuse of soul food. So, but if I'm completely honest, I can't completely cut out everything, but I'm getting better. I'm getting better.
Yeah, we all are. I think. I think one thing that I actually looked at was that, as you say, the slave diet. Of course, that's true and accurate. I'm reading something from an article that I picked off the web here that the African slaves or the enslaved Africans, I'll say, the enslaved Africans learned how to fry, boil, and roast dishes using pork fat corn, sweet potatoes, and local green leafy vegetables, which were the styles of cooking used by the British, French, Americans, and the Spanish. The African slaves brought black-eyed peas, rice, yams, okra, and watermelon from their country. A lot of the foods that Black Americans eat today are influenced by the dominant American culture. Once again, it wasn't us.
Yeah, man. I think we don't really understand just how magical we are. If we really did our real history backdrop, we find out that we are our diet or our cuisine is a hodgepodge of greatly due to us being slaves, us being all over the world and having to kind of adjust to what those type of people ate, and so we kind of develop our own thing. I mean, it's apparent if you look at the cuisine in the southeast compared to the cuisine that's maybe like in Louisiana, which differs for the cuisine in Texas, which differs from the cuisine in other places. So that's what we've been doing. But unfortunately, we've had to start from the bottom, in every area. So we got the worst of the worst wherever we were.
Yeah.
But we made it work. We made it taste good, and I think that we don't understand the psychology behind how far our taste buds can drive us. And I think it's pretty evident, in the Black community, and even in like the Hispanic community. A lot of the food that they eat is carb rich, and it's not really balanced, sugar based. So we got a long road to plow when it comes to us getting back to our original ways of eating. But we have a few things tonight we're going to share. Like I said, like we said, we're just going to touch on it. But yeah, we got to do better. We got to do better, family. We got to, because it's definitely killing us.
So, guys, if we took a poll in your homes, how healthy is your kitchen right about now?
I'm proud to say I'll jump in. Our kitchen's pretty healthy. I think I had this conversation, as a matter of fact, with we ran into you remember, matter of fact, she's Darlene Henry now, Edward. And so, yeah, we ran into her and we were having the same conversation about her family and ours, and our shopping carts pretty much look similar. And that's a proud thing when it comes to two Black Americans, in the grocery store during this week, right? Especially. So, but going back to your question and my point, uh, I'm very particular about why I shop. Very little preserve type items. We've known for a long time now the importance of shopping heavy in the produce section, and more so fresh greenery, legumes, beans, rice, etc. So that's been our style the whole while for about 6 7 years now. I say really the thing that turned us around, and this is a shameless plug for this video production with Forks Over Knives, which was a Netflix documentary before Netflix was real big here with documentaries. But if you have an opportunity, for those that are watching, to watch Forks Over Knives, matter of fact, I challenge you, put on the documentary right before Thanksgiving dinner and have the people, while they're waiting for the dinner to be served, have Forks Over Knives playing in the background. It's very eye opening to see how certain foods and liquids can turn on and off the cancer cells. And that's just really something to look into when it comes to a heavy meat, protein diet, animal based diet, compared to a very plant based heavy diet. That's where we pretty much reside for the most part. Don't get me wrong, I still do buy meats, and again, it's not total 100%, but we do put a heavy focus on very leafy grain type diets here in our family.
And I really think it's geographical, really. And I just want to say, like, living in the South is kind of hard. Old habits die hard, because number one, in the South, that's a part of our character. Our hospitality is surrounded by food and gatherings. So whenever there's an crossroad or an event going on in the family, what we're gonna do? We're gonna make a huge meal, huge dinner, invite everybody over, and have this, humongous plethora of food on the table. So it's definitely hard, especially when you grew up in a family that loves to cook and loves to cook soul food. So and really even growing up before we became or before I speak for myself, before I became an adult and became try to become conscious about what I eat, we will request, so I know I would request some of them soul foods, and some of those recipes kind of died out with some of the older generation and stuff. But I honestly have seen a kind of shift, not a whole lot, but I have seen like a lot of people who have become vegan, a lot of people who have decided to, just be plant based only, so it's coming around. We're doing better. We're doing better. I know I was very blessed to get both sides growing up. So the transition wasn't difficult for me. So I had people that love to cook soul food, but then at the same time, I had people like my grandmother and my mother and my aunt who introduced asparagus, who introduced Brussels sprouts, who introduced dip eggplant. So I did get an opportunity to get those different things. And so it's an acquired taste. When you've had soul food all your life and now you're trying to branch out, it's an acquired taste. But once you learn that seasonings and herbs and spices are your best friend, you know, the transition is not so bad.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I know it. Well, I know at my house, it's excuse me, it's pretty good. I no longer. I think I got an echo here. I don't know where that's coming from, but I know in our refrigerator, I made the transition probably about 5 or 6 years ago. I started out, definitely a huge meat eater for the majority of my life. But when I got around mid 30s, about 34, 35, somewhere in there, I started making some changes in my diet. And then what I did was I took the children along. So, I mean, I still buy meat, I don't buy any beef. All the meat that we eat is rather fish or some type of white meat of some sort, whether it be chicken or turkey. But again, with those, we try to eat those sparingly or not as often. I did transition. We transitioned also from not eating meat with breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I think just cutting that out made a huge difference. But we still eat fast food from time to time, and we're very selective on where we go. Um, but that's not. It's sparingly for sure.
Right, right.
The sugary cereals we got, we don't really eat those anymore. We have more of smoothies and fresh breakfast, fresh fruits and things like that. My children can go without juice or soda in the cabinets for a while. They'll drink water all day, every day without a problem. And so, our transition it's been really good. All a lot of fresh fruits, definitely our herbs, our superfoods, our chia seeds, our cocoas, our moringas, our maca. I mean, they know all of that stuff. Black seed oil. So
Yeah.
definitely not what I grew up in. Every time my mother comes and visits us, she always say, "Y'all too healthy for me." So,
That's a compliment, then, bro.
yeah, man, I know that's a huge plus if she says that.
Well, gentlemen, we have to realize that living in the South, you grew up with grill masters. You know what I'm saying? These men had custom made grills, and trust me, when they custom make them, they load it up and smoke some meat on their grill. So it can be a hard transition sometimes. Especially when you're trying to impact people outside of your household. It's kind of easy. You can kind of talk people into, when you're living in the same household, but when you're trying to make a broaden the, your spectrum or your reach, it's difficult because, people are used to what they're used to. And I, being in the healthcare field, I see people come in all the time and their blood pressure is not where it should be. And then you ask them about their diet, and then they roll off a list of stuff that shouldn't be on the list. But, and, it's a mindset thing, though. It's a mindset thing. I have items that they have to change their diet. It's at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been a mantra, in our home, that we've clung to. It's not anything new that we made up, but food is our medicine, medicine is our food, and that's what we have to look at food as. It can be, harmful. Food can be pretty much your poison if you pick the wrong foods to continue to consume. One thing that we typically like to do is make sure that our plate, at best, is ideally a colorful plate. And when
Right.
you have a colorful plate, that gives you a variety of textures and pretty much an adventure
Oh,
on
you
the
mean
plate.
like that? You mean eating greens with red velvet cake and cornbread? That's a lot of color for
That
me.
rainbow, I'll tell you, that's funny though. That's funny because our kids, again, kind of a segue there. Thank you. Is that our kids pretty much have a very sensitive palate on them. That if you give them probably a standard meal that is southern, they pick it out as salty. And they
Yeah.
really identify with that because of what we present at the table. But even to your point though, like even like say a red velvet, not that red velvet is on my hit list to take off. Um, if somebody cooks it
Not
right,
this
I'm diving
Please
in.
don't do that because I'm
not
gonna
this
give you some
week.
red velvet cake, bro.
Exactly. So everything in moderation. I like what Suzette said in the beginning. But no, one of those things is that we are a proud family of looking at the back of containers, back of boxes, and things of that nature to
Yeah.
find out, is this something that's loaded dyes and everything in it. So our kids really are. I mean, they'll check me if I brought home mistakenly a jar of jelly, and they turned over the pack and was like, "Did you know this had red number 40 in it?" And I'm like, "Dang, you got me. I was slipping." So we check each other like that, and so we don't carry a whole lot of artificial color
Right.
products in our home. We don't carry a lot of high fructose corn syrup products in our home. It's a lot of thought that goes into the shopping experience.
And gentlemen, also, like you said, I learned a lot when my son, he was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, which there is no cure. You just have to adjust your lifestyle in order to maintain your healthiness through it all. So we was very fortunate. They have a lot of different programs out for that demographics, but we was very fortunate to take a class with a dietitian, and we learned a lot about all the hidden sodium in processed foods. And and Brother Bowl talked about it on a previous show, making sure that you hit that produce section in the grocery store.
Yeah,
um
yeah. Go
get
get
some
the
fresh
fresh
vegetables.
first.
Yes,
Come on over
exactly.
to the corner.
Let that be your first stop,
Yeah, we got the freshest over here. I got the freshest tomatoes and bananas on my end. So go on over there and
Right.
go and get what you need. Get
Right.
all
And
those good stuff first.
once you get accustomed to it, you learn what to look for. Usually, like, we used to ask our parents, well, how can you tell if something is ripe? Y'all remember that game you used to play, like, if something is ripe and something is ready to eat. So you learn how to get those things, and you learn how to prepare them.
Well,
Definitely, if you are, first of all, they recommend to try to avoid canned goods if you can,
right.
processed foods. Fast foods have a lot of preservatives and processed foods in it. And I can remember, like, this, even though I'm implementing it now in my adulthood, when I go back to my childhood memories, I can remember my grandmother, like, they would go to Farmer Brown. They would go to the local marketplace and pick up all these fresh vegetables, and that would be our diet,
Yeah,
for the
but
week.
the
It
thing
was
about it is though, is that what we do is we select fresh foods and good. It's a good healthy start. So you talk about like produce and fruits and I'm thinking watermelon. Definitely a high potassium type of electrolyte fruit. But then I remember growing up and you're seeing people salt their watermelon, right?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
again, fresh Farmer Brown, lima beans and corn and things that are already there in the store, collard greens. But what do we add to it?
that fat back and all of the seasoning meat. So you have to be very selective about your seasoned meat, how you're going to season it. But once you learn that other herbs and spices exist, wow, your whole palate, your world changes, really. And really, I would challenge our viewers and us to, try other types of food. A Mediterranean diet is very good. um as we talked
We got
about,
to
a lot
break
of
that down for everybody now.
A Mediterranean diet is usually consists of a lot of just fresh ingredients. It doesn't have like a lot of what we use to season our meat with. So it uses a lot of different herbs and stuff to kind to use that to substitute get the flavor, because it's if it's not flavorful, I'm guilty of that too. If it don't ain't got no flavor, I don't really want it. So there are some different dishes out there that are very flavorful, and when you eat it, you don't get that heavy, miserable, like I feel sick kind of feeling. Like you feel good, you feel full, and you just feel good.
I think that's something we have to begin to embrace, is that we're going to have to begin to kind of expand our palate. Um, there's a lot of food
That's
out
exactly
there.
what I was gonna say. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's a lot of food out there that is really good. We just have to open up our mind and kind of be open to other options. Matter of fact, I would really love to go total vegan, vegetarian, whatever. There's so many different ones. Just when you don't eat meat, whether everybody got their own little renditions. I think it's two or three different types, but
Yeah. Well,
um,
it's different levels of it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And but I mean, I found I found a couple of restaurants. I know there's a couple in Jacksonville. There's one in Tampa.
Mhm.
There's one in Orlando, and I'm in Miami now, so I'm definitely gonna find me one before I leave here. But there are some places that cook some, I mean, some delectable, some delicious vegan food.
It is.
And sometimes it's crazy when you have a whole meal and you don't have any meat,
Right.
especially growing up in the country like us. We had sausage or bacon for breakfast, or
Yeah.
salmon croquettes or whatever. And then we had some type of meat for lunch. And then sometimes we'd have meat for a snack, a sandwich or whatever. And then we'd have meat with our dinner. And so, just being able to just remove meat and still have a tasteful dinner is
Is
possible.
is
It's very possible.
can we
Very possible.
classify pig's feet as meat or not? Does that count?
It's meat. It's meat, bro.
Yeah, it's some kind of meat.
I
Yeah.
It's
mean, let's go get into this, right?
and
It's,
it's different. The transition, we don't expect, because I know I didn't experience it overnight. Like I didn't immediately say I'm going cold turkey. It's kind of hard to do.
yeah.
But if you just dedicate, like have a theme night where it's just all vegetable night. Just kind of ease into it, and before you know it, you're gonna enjoy it so much. Then that one night of no, meat will turn into 2 nights, possibly three. And
Yeah.
that's how it goes. But yeah, we gotta just start somewhere. We have to start somewhere. So
Well, I
Right,
think
I
we're
like.
gonna. I think we're gonna. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna actually just give you a nod. It wasn't a quick, paragraph here, but just like what Bo said is that we've got to expand our palate, and like Suzette was just talking about that Mediterranean diet. You go through a store like Publix, and I think that's the issue also is that we tend to shop in places that don't offer a whole lot of variety, and we've got to be able to expand upon that. Sometimes, in the case of Valdosta in the perimeter, you got Publix right next to Walmart, but we're so used to going to Walmart because that's the diet that we grew up on,
mhm.
that we were most comfortable with, and really used to assimilated to, rather than just going outside of that box and giving a shot with some of the deli food section, the deli section food that is available in other stores.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Well,
now, y'all gonna see me out in public this week. Don't judge me if I have a ham in my basket. I
oh
don't.
A
yeah.
ham in your basket with a
I don't
bonnet
need no
on. I know
judgment.
what's going to happen. I know what you're trying to sneak in there. You're going to have a ham in the basket with a bonnet on.
Oh yeah. We gonna judge you for real, especially with a
Don't
ham.
Yeah,
judge
we're
me.
going to judge you. We're going to judge
For sure.
So,
I
well,
I think
we're having a potluck, so we might gonna have a little bit of everything. But
But they'd hate me in the potluck. They'd hate me. I mean, because I'm gonna bring like some quinoa.
no. Here you go, bro. Some hard palms. There you go.
Right, exactly.
Some harder palms. Bring that on. But
Come
yeah,
on.
I think one of the reasons, because as we're talking about this and some of the ramifications of our choices of diet throughout the years, I think we got away from understanding that our health is our wealth. I
yes,
think we really got away from that, and I think we got away from that a long time ago. But I think we had to insert some of that, given the choices that we had. You know,
Right.
even though we were given the scraps of the pig. Even if you look back in our history prior to slavery, we did eat pigs, but
Hmm.
we would not eat them every day. Those were eaten like ceremonially. They were eaten maybe once or twice a year, or when they caught it, and they did eat the whole animal. They did. But at that time, as you already know, that was a totally different kind of pig. That was a totally different environment that the pig was in.
Right.
But we didn't overindulge because 90 to 95% of our diet was vegan, was vegetarian. It was us eating from the land.
Yeah.
I actually was trying to find a video about. I found it somewhere on Instagram. I hopefully I'll be able to find it before we get off. But it talked about what happened when the missionaries would come up when they came over to certain tribes and they brought their starchy, sugary, floury foods, chocolate and stuff like that. And when they brought them over, we were immediately indulging them because they were different. But within a short period of time, we were dying off. We were getting sick, like deathly sick. The elderly were just so sick they couldn't move because it proves that our diet is very different than everybody else's. And we're going to have to begin to embrace that our health is our wealth. And so
Right.
we can stop eating these certain things. I know it tastes good. Listen, I love bacon. I love pork bacon. I like it cooked the right way. I don't like my bacon rubbery. I want it. Remember how Shoney's used to make it where that thing would just sit up in the basket and then it hit your mouth, the whole thing would crunch in your mouth. Yeah, yeah. hmm I love ribs. Dwayne, I can cook some. I can give you some ribs on the grill now. I can cook some ribs and some chicken, but I don't eat them like that because I
Yeah.
understand that that kind of stuff is a silent killer. And depending upon if you did end up getting that worm, that worm that's associated, I can't remember the name, that's associated with pork, that migrates to your brain, lodges itself there and doesn't leave, or that same parasite that lodges itself in your intestines and multiplies like that and can grow up to 6 to 8 feet. When you start doing real research about the food that we eat,
Hmm.
we'll stop making some of the choices that we're making, especially with all this beef, this beef that they're so called making these burgers out of. That, I mean, if you talk to the people who are running these dairy farms, they'll tell you we don't have enough cows to produce this kind of beef. So what is this meat that they're calling beef? And so we're gonna have to start being more cognitive about what it is we put in our bodies because our DNA will assimilate whatever we put in. So it is a true statement. You are what you eat. So
And,
we, we,
and just
we
like
gotta
just
jump
like
in
you
there.
said, Bo, even though mentally, we're thinking we're eating the same diet in terms of pork, in terms of beef, all of that, we are not. We have to realize what we are living in, you know what I'm saying, the decade that we're living, the time and age that we're living in.
Yeah,
Yes, back then the slaves were eating those types of things and our older generations were, but at the same time, they were getting organic food. They didn't have all this processed food. And then now, there are some reports that the stuff that they're actually feeding on these big farms, these big pig farms and chicken farms
yeah,
and the stuff that they're feeding them is considered waste.
yeah,
So, we have to realize we may think we're eating the same stuff, and a lot of people use that as an excuse. Well, my grandmother ate it and she lived to be blah 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 blah. But that their cattle and they raised them organically. They were eating, grass and they wasn't eating all this processed chemical impact, hormone impact induced stuff that they're producing now. So we have to be
A
mindful.
lot of times, they argue the point that they knew where their food was coming from. Also, so going to your
Yeah,
point,
they knew the whole cycle. Yeah, the cycle of the animal. Yeah, so we have to be. Come on, guys, let's be smart. Because in the end, we're gonna do a little bit of myth busting too, because a lot of people say, well, eating organic is expensive. Well, when you look at the long term effect of over the years and all the medical expenses that you're piling up on yourself, nah, not really, not
yeah,
really.
yeah. There's an article written by this was written by. I got it. I have it. It's written by Power Ford. Is actually that's the website. Power Ford Group. They wrote an article about, your health is your wealth, and there's 8 reasons why health is your wealth. And the very first reason is medical bills are more expensive the less healthy you are.
Yes.
Sick people spend their earned hard cash on medical bills rather than on things they enjoy, just because they won't make the right decisions when it comes to what they're putting in their mouth. We don't understand that all of these injuries and illnesses that we have, that they say are so-called generational or in your bloodline, you actually can break that
Exactly.
just by the foods you eat, just making the right choice, drinking enough water, eating, kind of topsy turvy your portion of meat with your vegetables, and swap it around. Don't make that piece of meat larger than your fist balled up. That's it. And do that once a day. Just eat meat once a day, and you will be surprised how well your immune system will pick up and how much better you'll feel. So,
Yep.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I would love to save some money if I got to eat apples and and eat some few more salads to save on my medical bills. I'll be more than glad, because the older we get, the more expensive healthcare becomes. So,
Yeah,
I
Definitely.
don't,
I
I
would
don't
even say
know.
logically that shopping for meat versus you looking at your prices, and I mean you can look at the store. I mean when you're looking at a container or a carton or whatever it is of beef or pork or whatnot, clearly by the pound it is much more expensive than just shopping for
Yeah,
go down the bean aisle and get a bag of fresh beans or go into frozen foods, get frozen broccoli, etc. And then even obviously in the produce section trying something colorful, whether it be sweet potatoes and regular potatoes, red, gold potato. I mean it's such a journey to just
yeah,
try different things. You talk about asparagus and all of that, asparagus, squash. I mean, we can go on and on with the different variety of produce and options that you actually have compared to the meat side of it. And like you said, Brother Bowl, if you're just looking for that meat, use it as a taste additive, but also, like you said, no larger than your fist.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
You
guys,
know,
so tell me what is just one recipe that you changed or you adapted in your adulthood in your efforts to eat healthy? One that you absolutely are in love with now. What would that be?
I would
I'll
say
say,
just, oh, go ahead, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say breakfast. My breakfast has completely changed. To be honest with you, now when we have our family gatherings, my family still holds on to a lot of that grits and eggs and all that stuff for breakfast, and sometimes we do oblige. But for the most part, um, I started implementing a lot of that intermittent fasting. So what I'll do in the mornings is have whether some hot lemon water or whatever to kind of get my organs flushed out in the morning. I don't eat cereal anymore in the morning, especially. I try to stay away from a carb heavy bread and biscuits and stuff like that. So I have a bowl of a mixed fruit, and that mixed fruit is strawberries, blackberries, blueberries, coconut water, and I'll probably put a scoop of sea moss in it, and some spring water, and that's my breakfast. And I'm telling you, if you love sweets, and if you want something sweet in the morning, this will fix it for you. I'm telling you.
Mhm.
That's all. What I do is I buy the little mixed fruit bags, the frozen fruit bags. It's strawberries, blackberries, and blueberries and raspberries. There we go. The things that you need in the morning. The very high antioxidant, high vitamin C fruits. What you need in the morning with high fiber.
Hey,
Put it
Tony,
in a bowl. You
I didn't
pour
forget
in.
about you. I didn't forget about you on my way.
Oh, yeah, you do that. You pour it in there, and you have your coconut water. You pour your spring water in there, and I'm telling you, it is sweet. It's healthy. Oh yeah, I forgot, and I put mixed nuts in there too. Uh, Cashews, walnuts, dried cranberries, almonds, pumpkin seeds, and then whatever little mixed fruit. I'll put that in there. So now I've got protein and I've got my fruit. So I've got something to hold me. So that protein keep me full longer. and it's flushing, it's flushing my body out because we need fruit in the morning anyway. Our body is when we wake up in the morning, that's why we go to the restroom because our body is cleaning itself out. Fruit helps your body cleanse itself. So why not provide yourself with with what you need? So that's my biggest change. It has made a huge difference because I'm not eating all that sugar in the morning and not eating all that heavy stuff and meat and eggs and grits and so yeah, my children love it. I love it. So that's my biggest change.
First, let me apologize. I thought I put it on mute. Um, Little PSA. If you're in Valdosta, Georgia, Tony Tong and several different community partners are hosting a Feed the City. So he has 4 different feeding sites, north, south, east, and west. You can find that information on my Facebook page. Just a little PSA. If you want a fresh, hot cooked meal, it is gonna be soul food, but come on out and get, feed the city. So I'm gonna throw it back to you, Brother Black. So in your efforts to eat healthy, tell us what have you changed and what is your favorite healthy meal now?
I mean, it's hard for me to pinpoint a favorite meal, by the way, just because my answer to the primary point of your question is, what have we done differently? In addition to what I've already said, I think what I particularly like to do is just rehack things. So just like Brother Bo was talking about, how can you get that sustainment through sweets, but still be healthy? So you figure out what is sweet but healthy in order to do that. But primarily, my unique, I guess, response to the question is more so I dive into recipes. So if there's a recipe that I can redo in a certain way based on what I have in my pantry, because in our pantry it's a bit different. So I don't have all of the additives that normally go into it. We have a pretty moderate spice rack
Mm-hmm.
in our cabinet. So I can dabble with this, dabble with that, things that I know will do certain things for the body and diet and sprinkle in versus using traditional additives. Uh, when it comes to just like I said, exploring recipes rather than doing what I was raised on or what our culture typically likes to have. I think that has gone a long way. It's proven it's gone a long way based on just how it is. I mean, everybody on this call right here, between the three of us, has a very good, physique and everything. So that's how we've developed our physique and maintained our physique within our family. You can see it's proven as well for our kids, just because of the endurance that they have, the ability to just keep going and things of that nature, and also it's proven itself because of the way that they actually eat and they choose to eat. And so when they go to school, they know exactly what choices not to make because we keep impressing upon them as kids the importance of saying no to candies, saying no to sugary drinks. So our kids really don't even ask for Kindle. I'll say. Let me clarify that. Kindle primarily will not ask for a soda. Kalel, you could probably twist his arm and offer him a soda, but primarily they'll take it because they know they don't get it at home at all. We don't even carry that stuff in our cabinetry. So I think the biggest thing that is different from our household versus growing up is just the choices that we have in our house. It's very limited, but we still are resourceful to the point that we make very good meals, and our kids actually love it. And I think that's one of the things that impressed others. I had a conversation with the local principal here quite recently, and he was just trying to figure out, how do I make my kids transition like I have and my wife has. And one of the things I just share with them is that it's just like everything we talk about, whether it's cultural history, education, financial literacy, etc. It starts when they're young. We got to teach our kids this. And one thing that we've done always, even with our 5-year-old, we've always given them healthy food choices within the house, and that's the only choice they have. So it's that mind trick is that you can have this or that, but both options are healthy. So it even comes down to like desserts and treats in the freezer. We're not doing the was the ice that grew up on just a whole bundle that you put in the freezer, and it was nothing but red 40, green this, and blue that, blue lake this. But everything that we shop for has color based on fruit coloring or beets color or whatnot. So they actually have the choice, but not an unhealthy choice.
Right. You're absolutely right. And I'm glad you brought up the point about, changing up your recipes. Here where we live, we don't have a Whole Foods store. However, if your diet or your recipe requires something different, Amazon is amazing. They will ship whatever you need, to complete that recipe. But also, from coming from a female's perspective, sometimes as a female or a homemaker, we are pressured into thinking that we got to offer this 3 course meal, and with dessert, at the end you're serving this dessert. And I when I was young, that's what I did. I had a full meal, and then here comes the dessert. We baking, alamo ice scoop of ice cream, but we have to change that narrative in our own households and open up our kids' palate. If we introduce different items to them, eventually their palate will accommodate that. But one of the things, me personally, I wouldn't say I'm like you, Dwayne. I wouldn't can't pinpoint one thing, but one thing for sure I know I have changed from what I've grown up in, and even earlier when my kids were little, is now I primarily use olive oil. Like, I don't use any other cooking oil. Like, olive oil is basically what I cook with. And just a little tidbit: if you're gonna start using olive oil in your diet and in your preparation of your meal, get virgin olive oil, because all the other, the light olive oil and all that other stuff, it has added preservatives. When you get virgin, extra virgin rather, actually, that's the purest form of the olive oil. So if you're gonna cook with it, choose that one. Otherwise, you can go ahead and get the Crisco or whatever else you're gonna you're gonna use. So
Another
yeah,
thing
that,
that we've done also, I forgot about this, and I've seen Brother Bold, talk about this through the years. Really, we don't buy anything but now that oat milk is on the shelves. But at first it was a lot of almond milk, and so when our kids ask for milk, just say, I want, Daddy, can I get some milk? They're asking for the milk that's actually in the refrigerator. It's either almond or oat milk. So our kids don't really do at all outside of school that continues to serve that. We don't really do a lot of the animal milk product, and that's again something that we got from Forks Over Knives with regards to that cow's milk. We're the only species that drinks another species' milk. It's just odd when you think about it.
yeah. So I think if we implemented those things, and my advice would be, and I'm gonna give you the same advice that I personally use for myself, is to start small and start smart. You know what I'm saying? Do your research and see what's gonna accommodate the everything. That number one, first and foremost, the health factor is important, and then of course to us, the taste factor is important. So once you check off those two, I mean, it's pretty much easy selling from that point, in my opinion.
I think what you said is classic. Start small, and that piece of it I really want to hinge on is that just adding particular changes that are small, beneficial, and over time you incrementally change the plate and the composure. Just like what Brother Bull was talking about with breakfast. Breakfast can take a whole different turn by introducing additional products, different products, just shopping different. And you'll realize that even if you incorporate like different shakes, smoothies, you'll be
Hmm.
surprised actually how fulfilling that is, and you won't even need a full breakfast. You're getting the nutrients that your body actually requires for that morning.
Green smoothies are delicious, by the way. Just want to throw that out there.
And also don't forget that we also need to understand the power of pairing foods.
Yeah.
A lot of us don't understand that we've been pairing foods very incorrectly. For example, um, I'm, I know we talk about healthy foods, but for example, a value meal or burger meal that has a hamburger or chicken sandwich with fries and a drink. We don't understand that what we're doing is we're actually constantly or consistently putting our digestive system in shock because actually your body cannot digest protein and carbs at the same time. It's going to choose which one to digest first. So it may choose to digest, and it's more than likely probably going to digest the carbs first because it's not as coarse as the meat. And so what happens is if we're eating a burger and fries and a soda for lunch, and then we're eating, uh, I don't know, black eyed peas, rice, cornbread, chicken, and something else for dinner, or Kool-Aid for dinner, we're not realizing that our body still has not digested lunch. And now we're packing on more meat and more carbs for it to then have to say, okay, let me set all this aside. So I still got this chicken from lunch I got to get rid of. And what we're doing is we're constantly just slamming our digestive system with stuff that's poisonous, that's foreign, that's harmful. That's why we got IBS and all these other issues because we're not pairing our food. Matter of fact, when we're pairing our food in smoothies, vegetables and fruit don't go together. But all of the fads when they give us these menus for these smoothies, they're always mixing vegetables and fruit. They don't go together. You're supposed to eat fruit with fruit because fruit digests within 20 to 30 minutes. But if we're putting fruit with something that's going to digest for 2 hours, that's when we started getting food souring on our stomachs, and we started getting upset stomachs and things like this because we're not pairing our foods properly. But a lot of times we paid attention to that lie, that food chart that was all over our school systems in every class. It was an absolute lie because milk has been proven. Well, actually, milk is given the green light to have over so many million bacteria, pus, and blood in the milk that passes that they allow to be in the milk for it to be safe for human consumption. So they already know from jump that they're poisoning you and they're killing you from the products that you're eating. So we have got to take it upon our own self to do our own research and realize a cow's milk is for cows. Human milk is for humans, and humans don't drink milk farther than their them being weaned off of their mother. After that, we don't need milk anymore. We get calcium from other vegetables. I think it's what is it? What other vegetable it is that has a lot of? Is it spinach?
Bell pepper has a lot of.
Yeah, it's plenty. I mean, yeah, like you said, a lot of the green leafy vegetables actually have the
Yeah,
right amount of calcium in it.
yeah. So we just got to do more. We got to do our due diligence because, for example, we don't. Our bodies are absolutely strung out on sugar.
Mhm.
It's absolutely strung out on sugar, brother. When I found out that two pieces of brown or two pieces of wheat bread spikes your insulin
Mhm.
more than a Snickers bar,
Mhm. Yeah.
I was like, wow. A
Yeah.
bowl of rice, a bowl of white rice by itself is like 8 teaspoons of sugar.
We have
So,
to
it's,
realize that carbohydrates turn into sugar. That's how your body
yeah,
processes it.
exactly,
Hmm.
exactly. So we're eating potato chips and we're eating hot Cheetos and what's I'm gonna say Funyuns. I'm gonna age myself.
Hockeys,
Funyuns and
little
All right,
Hockeys,
Cheetos,
that's the
they
hot
eat
thing right now.
Takis now. We eat
Takis and all
Takis
that kind of
Hockeys
stuff.
and wrap snacks, wrap
Yeah, man. And not realizing that all that stuff is sugar.
now.
And then what do we do? We get a bag full of chips, we get Pringles, we get all that stuff. Then we turn around and we get this big soda that if we read on the back, it'll say per serving, but it'll tell you how many servings are in that soda. We're drinking 40 grams of sugar 3 times
right.
because most of those things are 2.5 to 3 servings per bottle.
Right.
And so
And
we are just completely hooked on sugar and don't even know it.
number one, they're empty calories, and then we also have to realize that people they're not as active as they were in previous generations.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you're eating all this bad stuff, consuming all these empty calories, and then you're sitting on it.
yeah,
So
yeah.
uh,
That's another thing we gotta do. We gotta stop being lazy. And we have to also understand that eating food is supposed to be a transfer of energy.
right.
Correct.
That goes back to us not understanding the power or the science behind eating. Secondly, we're supposed to eat with our hands. Did you know that?
Hmm.
We're supposed to eat with our hands because our fingers pre-digest what we're eating. That's
Mm,
why our ancestors ate with their hands because when your hands feel what you're eating, it tells your digestive system what to prepare for it to get ready to digest. So it lets off different type of digestive juices to digest certain things. So that's why many times we're supposed to eat with our hands. But
Well,
you
that
realize,
that would explain why your more native cultures do that, and even in the I guess the more modern food or culture still it's still presented that way, like Ethiopian food, Indian food,
yep,
some Asian food, and man, a lot of
hmm
Asian food, as a matter of fact. But again, those cultures do still eat primarily with the hands, in the breaded material there.
so all of you all you colored folk out there that's still eating your greens and your cornbread with your hands, you got to pass. You got
Yeah,
to pass for that
You got
sign.
to
you're
pass.
starting well, but you probably start out with a hog jaw in the greens.
Yeah, make sure you season it
So you don't get a full pass, but at least you're eating it with your hands. Good job.
Yeah,
well. Gentlemen, I have volunteered my time on tomorrow, and so I have turkeys that are waiting on me. The gentlemen are calling me to pick them up, but we will be serving or out. The site that I will be working tomorrow is the North Side location, which will be at the old Valdosta High School. If you have nothing else to do, come on out and spend some time. Break bread with me. We will be having utensils in case you don't want to eat.
y'all
We,
bougie over there, huh?
we
Y'all
gonna be
bougie.
we gonna be bougie, so we are gonna have utensils if you want to come out. But I would like to say have a happy, wonderful, healthy Thanksgiving this year to my counterparts, Brother Black and Brother Bold, and to
Thank you.
all of the viewers out there. May you have a wonderful, blessed, and joyous, healthy Thanksgiving.
Absolutely,
All right,
absolutely.
Suzette. We appreciate your input. See you next time.
All right, guys. Good night.
All right.
Good night. Yeah, man, it's a lot that we got. We still have a long way to go, man, when it comes
Oh
to
yeah.
what is that we're
Especially in the
eating.
South. I mean, that's like I said, is that being in the northern part of the region of our United States, it was very diverse as far as the variety of food options, and that's really the whole point, is that we don't even have the food options here for our people to actually consume different things or taste. And perhaps it's a double-edged sword, is even if you open up a restaurant with that, would the people even support it? you know
Yeah, yeah,
it's like I said, the Indian, what was it, Passage to India. Our whole family likes going there because of the fact that it's mostly vegetarian based food.
yeah,
And again, in that case, you could eat with your hands because they have the non bread there. So I
yeah,
mean, yeah, it's very different from region to region, and it's uh, if you have the opportunity to travel, you can see that it's a wonderful experience to be able to do so.
yeah. It is. It is. And that's one thing what I like about now is I'm actually searching for other options. I'm actually looking for something different than what I'm used to. To be honest with you, my brother, I really don't even like buffets anymore.
Right.
I've done buffets so much in my past, and another thing that kind of is a downer about buffets is they cook everything in pork, and so it kind of
Exactly, because it's got
it,
to
you
appeal to
know
the masses.
yeah, and of course, and then secondly, it's the cheapest thing to use, as
Right.
as a
That's right.
meat base. So to the point whenever we go to the buffets, I'm eating the salads, and then sometimes I may eat some of the food. I may get some baked chicken or something, with the greens or whatever, and I'm trying to, you know, I got to kind of look past all the things that I, that I really don't like to eat it. But I really don't do the buffet anymore. I would prefer home cooked meals where I can control, my salt intake. I can control my portions a lot
Yeah.
better. And it's just, I feel more safe. I feel more in
Right.
control of my destiny when it comes to, me being able to prepare my own food. So
Absolutely.
I just think we really got to really take a real close, good, hard look at where we want to go when it comes to our health, because especially now with all this going on with our economy, with the potential scares of a product not being available as normal.
The
I
writing's on
think,
the wall.
yeah, man, it's like now we're going to have to really uh, find rhyme and reason, to kind of reacclimate ourselves back to being earthy people,
Yeah.
having our own gardens, having our chickens and whatever
Right.
in the backyard, and stuff like that. Because I think that ties to us being able to immediately control the pesticides and the stuff like that we ingesting. I don't know if you saw it. There was actually there was actually a article that was written, and they were talking about, and the guy, he actually, what he did was, he and his family, they bought fruit, they ate fruit from like a regular, like a Walmart or whatever, just a regular grocery store, and then they tested their blood, and they tested all of the
Oh yeah.
all of the contaminants and all the pesticides, and then they ate organic for a month, and they
Yes.
did the very same thing, and they found out that just by them changing from just basic fruit to organic fruit, just the amount of pesticides that they cut out of their system
I bet.
was amazing. And I think at that point, if our people, if our culture would just take a moment to really just look at what we're eating, really study how it really affects us, I think that would get around a lot of these pre-existing conditions that have actually exposed us to, some of the depths of COVID. Even when it comes to, you know, having certain incidents or certain illnesses that you can't get rid of, or even death coming from,
Yeah.
the pandemic. I think that's huge for us. So I don't know why. I don't know why it is. It could be. I don't know. I mean, that's a huge question for me, because one day I asked myself, like, why am I still eating this stuff?
But yeah, it's like when you said about the buffets. I mean, you'll question yourself as you finish. It's like, what was that even necessary, and why did I just eat that? It's always
Yeah,
like a regretful response after the fact.
I definitely
And
feel it.
one of the things that I kind of pay, not kind of, I pay attention to is going to a restaurant, especially in the South. Um, who else is eating there, as
Yeah,
far as body types. And that's basically the rule of thumb here, is that that's really what you are following as far as the lead when you look at, is it a healthy group of people that's eating this? And that's really my needle, in the sense of
yeah,
where I tend to lead my habits of eating. You try to find places to where healthy people are finding healthy food options, whether
yeah,
it's the local sandwich shop, the local, just like Suzette was just saying, with the Creations smoothie bar. The brothers down there, owners Tim, Brian, and Rico, doing some marvelous things, and they're sticking to their guns, and they really are trying to educate the masses of the people here of a healthy food option that's
yeah,
local and right in our backyard.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know if many of our followers know about Red and Blue Pill, but they're two twin brothers. They're in what we would call the conscious community, but they are definitely some very intellectual brothers, and they really talk. They talk a lot about the benefits of eating greens, the benefits of having your chlorophyll intake on a daily basis, because chlorophyll is actually plant blood. It actually is almost almost the mirror to human blood. And so one thing we're going to have to begin to embrace in our community is a hyper consumption of greens, a hyper consumption, whether it be maca, whether it be moringa, whether it be spirulina, whether it be chlorophyll, whether it be, a huge variety of different types of fruit. We need that, because once we understand that we actually can eat plant blood, which is very similar to our blood, it lets us know that it kind of ties to a lot of the old adages and the old wise sayings when it comes to, for example, the herbs would be for the healing of the nations and things like that. Some of the religious texts that actually lead us or point us in the direction that we need to be more natural. We need to be more vegan or vegetarian or what have you, because that's what our body is made of. But when we eat the meat and we eat the seafood and all that kind of stuff, we really, really, really shock and put a huge charge on our bodies, and not realizing that it just compounds. Because if you're going to eat seafood and you're going to eat pastas, if you're going to eat cheese, if you're going to drink milk, if you're going to eat a lot of processed food, that stuff attacks your immune system in a horrible way. I mean, it is like a barrage on your immune system.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
we
I mean,
got to do better.
if you do the research on it, like I said, I mean, same thing that I said before about forks over knives. I mean, when you do the research or you just follow some simple research, you'll you don't have to dig far, and you'll see a lot of the unhealthy, toxic foods that are don't seem to be toxic based on culture, but they're like you said, they're doing a number on your digestive system and your immune system to the point that it's a straight correlation to some of the, as they say, underlying conditions that
Yeah,
we as a culture specifically compared to we as a country, but because we heavily consume those type products, whether it's because of food deserts, which is a different topic in itself, but it is a factor to not having healthy food options in addition to just simple cultural habits. But we'll understand through simple study that things such as obviously hypertension, but in addition to that, things that seem to be naturally occurring, such as asthma. I mean, those things are directly tied into diet. And
yeah,
once we start realizing that and hearing more information from trusted individuals and slowly change our diet, portion by portion on the plate, we'll start to see health start to change also. But we've got to
yeah.
start making those first changes by ourselves incrementally.
But I want to use a word. I want to take a word that you use, and I just want to replace it. I want to play the word game. You said change. I would like to say invest. I think we're going to have to embrace the fact that our health is an investment,
Yeah,
and it is an investment that definitely will pay dividends in the end if we stick to it. But I
yeah,
want to say this. I want to say that I think one of the major reasons why in our community our health is such a taboo type of a topic is because many of us don't understand the value of investment. Just investment, period.
period. Right.
I understand that that's something that we actually could utilize in other aspects of our life. I mean, again, you and I, or anybody who's ever played sports throughout their childhood, and been pretty active up into their adult life, understand the benefits of just exercise, of consistent exercise. You don't have to go in there and lift the gym, but just be consistent with what you're doing. That's an investment. Going in there and you're pounding out your exercise regimen for 30 minutes or 45 minutes or an hour or whatever. That's an investment that pays back huge dividends just by having a 30-minute exercise, 3 to 5 times a week can add years onto your life. I just got some information about breathing exercises. If you learn the power of oxygen in your body, if you do certain breathing exercises, you can add 7 years to your life just by breathing exercises. Drinking the proper types of water, not faucet water, not purified water, not always distilled water, because distilled water does rob you of a lot of your minerals, but it is good for you in other ways. When you're talking about getting rid of kidney stones and things like that, but we need spring water. Just certain small changes like that, and I guarantee you, brother. I know a lot of people say eating healthy is expensive. It's not. It really isn't, because if you factor in all of the sweet things that you buy, all of the processed stuff that you buy, if you take a lot of that stuff out and replace it with the natural stuff, it is actually cheaper to eat
It is.
organic.
And it's
But a lot
not
of
even
people
the
don't
long
see that.
term effect being cheaper. I mean, that's true. But as I said before, and like what you're saying here, it really is not any more expensive to eat
No,
healthy.
no,
That's a trope that's just old and outdated to the point where obviously it seems to have come from organics, in the sense that organic food is priced differently than traditional food. But even if we talk about those incremental changes, if you
yeah,
just actually incrementally buy fruits and vegetables heavier than the
yeah,
meat products, the pork products, it will go a long way. And like you
yeah.
said, invest in exercise regimen.
Yeah, yeah. I think that if we do all of that and really take and really do the investment when it comes to us planning our life out, and when we understand that our food and exercise are two sides of the same coin, we would change our life forever. If we understand that, when I finally understood that, Black, when I got to that point and understood that food and exercise are two different sides of the same coin, it changed my life forever. Because then I understood that what I ate
Yeah.
it should be predicated on how active I am. I
Yeah.
can't be eating a whole lot of bread and a whole lot of pasta and a whole lot of this, that, and the third, and I'm not an active individual, because that stuff is going to immediately metabolize into another layer of fat. And if it's the brown fat, I think it's the brown fat that's actually more different. The adipose, that's the more difficult fat to get rid of. That's the fat that actually has its own mind. If we get that, to understand that fat has its own ability to be cognitive, to think its way through. That's why sometimes it's hard for people to lose certain
Right.
certain spots, because that fat has a memory. That fat it becomes an organism of its own. But we don't understand that. We're like, I just can't get this off. I just can't get. No, we have eaten ourselves into a situation where now our body is turned on us, literally. But we don't embrace that, because the greens taste good. I like my greens better with fat back than smoked turkey, or
Right.
or turkey bacon, or I like that ham. I just gotta have that ham. I just gotta have that fried chicken, when you can go find you some of those. I think they call the lion's mane mushrooms, or whatever, the ones that are bigger ones that you can actually cook and fry, and they
Right.
taste. The consistency is very similar to chicken. Stuff like that, man. We just don't. It's like a lot of times we don't even want to entertain the idea that
Yeah. Right.
macaroni and cheese is killing us. We don't even want to
Right.
entertain that. But
Right.
I don't know. Anything with white flour is an enemy to us. It's just an enemy. Anything that's been stripped of its grain, if it's
Right.
white bread, or even if it's the cheap multi-grain bread, not realizing that wheat bread, it ain't nothing but white bread cooked in with molasses.
Right. There you go. You got to look at the products, the ingredients, and you'll
Yeah,
find molasses.
yeah, we're not paying attention, and because of that, we're killing ourselves and not realizing that we really could be changing the trajectory of our family and our children, just by changing what we eat. If we could do that, man, listen, we could make some huge changes. So I am hoping
But
that a lot of us, make some better changes come Thursday. I really do. I
yeah.
really do.
Yeah. Yeah.
'Cause we need some changes made real fast, because
It's turning the Titanic.
yeah, literally.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's see here. Well, I want to send a quick shout out to Maddie. She came on to let us know she was just checking in. She said she was late. She was listening though, so we appreciate Maddie for logging on, and coming to see about us tonight.
Maddie.
And family, we just wanted to kind of start this conversation tonight. We've got a lot. Listen, we have a whole lot more that we're going to bring out about this particular topic, because this is one of the huge detriments to our community that's killing us in many different ways. We got a lot of our family members leaving here. We got so many pre-existing conditions that just keep, harming our community in so many different ways. So we're going to be bringing this information out. We're going to definitely share with you the details, the data, the statistics, and so you can see it for yourself that it's a must in this season that we change what we're putting in our bodies. Because listen, I read an article this morning that said that the same oranges that my grandparents ate, I need to eat eight oranges of today to eat one orange of what my grandparents ate. So that doesn't tell you that the onus is multiplied on us, because now we got to do more to even get what they got. And so, the demand is there. I mean, the need for us to change is definitely there. We just gotta make up in our minds and decide that we're gonna live and not die with this foolishness and this crazy stuff we're eating. So I'm just encouraging the family. Let's eat better. Let's do better. And that Thanksgiving plate we can't wait to get to. Matter of fact, even if they cook it with all that stuff, just get you one piece of small meat. Just one small piece. Let that meat be the smallest thing on your plate, so you can just get you a taste of it and move on, and keep doing that until you can do without your meat. then you can start slowly backing off on all that seasoning, all that salt, and all that other stuff. It's a process
Yeah.
because we hadn't even gotten into how we've been feeding the parasites in us. We didn't even talk
Yeah.
about that. So which control our appetites and cravings. So we didn't get into that. So
Yeah.
we got a long way.
Be like me and be that one person that brings the healthy dish. Just to change the narrative, and then maybe somebody else will do it next year and the following year, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
change the narrative.
Oh
So
yeah, oh yeah. I'm about to try that one, bro. I'm about to try that one.
set your dish right beside, the stuffing.
I'm gonna bring some broccoli salad with the raisins.
Yeah,
I love broccoli salad. I don't know about you, bro, but
yeah,
I
I've been loving
love
broccoli
broccoli
salad.
salad.
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
it. I mean, I even like having broccoli by itself. Now, of
exactly.
course, at the time when I used to eat it by itself, of course, it had to be with some ranch dressing. Yeah, it's completely messing up the entire
Right,
situation.
right, right.
But now I can do it without the ranch dressing, so I do more vinaigrettes and things like that. So
Yes.
a
No,
lot different.
I'm a huge fan of greenery, in a sense of just exploring, Swiss chard, actually talked about before, it's not green, but eggplant, but broccoli, Brussels sprouts, all that. And in fact, we got a huge bag of Brussels sprouts right now. I mean, our kids, everybody loves it, man. It's just say you try it and you don't realize that there's another taste factor going there
Yeah,
that, you might want to continue. So I would just urge everyone, of course, again, bump the system and bring the healthy dish to the party, but also try to just go out on a limb and do something different as far as
yeah,
what you buy in the produce aisle.
yeah. Oh yeah, man. I fallen in love with purple cabbage. I
Oh
had
yeah, yeah, oh
purple
yeah,
cabbage for
yeah,
the
oh
first
yeah.
time last year, I think it was,
Oh really?
and
Yeah,
I love it. Matter of fact, I prefer purple cabbage over regular cabbage now. I mean,
exactly.
just
Yeah,
stuff
it's
like
just different. Yeah,
quinoa, love it. Now we implement quinoa a lot into our diet. A lot more fish.
right.
Um, we come like salmon and things like that. I try to stay away from a lot of the chicken, even though we do eat it, but I try to minimize it as much as I can, and it's my desire to eventually get rid of chicken altogether,
Gotcha.
given the nature of how they're doing chicken now. But and eventually, just backing away from so much fish and things like that, just eating it every once in a while because it's good. It's good to hit your gut with some meat every now and then. Um, you know, every now and then just throw a little something in there to give it that reset. You might need it, but yeah, man, we just got to make it because one thing I wanted to bring up before we logged off was um, a lot of us have a misconception when it comes to vitamins and other additional supplements.
Right.
I think that's a huge part of the Black community that we don't utilize and we don't exercise or we don't add to our diet is supplements. And supplements are things that we're going to have to begin to understand. These are the building blocks to help to continue to fortify our immune system. Vitamin D, understanding that the best source of vitamin D is standing outside in the sun. In the summertime, you need 20 to 30 minutes. In the wintertime, you need 1 to 2 hours to get that vitamin D. But the vitamin D actually creates the hormone is actually created within the body. So we realize the sun is what actually initiates the process to create the vitamin D
Right.
that's within us. But if you're not getting out in the sun, then go get you a supplement with vitamin D in it. But it has to be attached to some type of um, um, magnesium for it to actually work. So you make sure when you're buying your vitamin D, you're rather pairing it with another supplement that's magnesium, or you buy it with something that's got magnesium already in it. Vitamin D3. We need vitamin D3. Black folk, we're naturally deficient of vitamin D3. That's why we do so well in the sun because our body can handle it so much more. So we need that. Cocoa, maca,
Hmm.
moringa, sea moss, chia seeds. I mean, there's so many different superfoods that we can benefit from. Maca root, ashwagandha, all these things that we can utilize in our diet to help fortify, the things that we're not getting. Bladderwrack, that's a seaweed. There's so much that we can get. So we definitely need to make sure that we diversify what we put
Right.
in our diet so we can make sure we're getting the best bang for our buck. Because chips and cheese and sodas and Kool-Aid and all that other comfort stuff is killing us. We're getting our 40s and 50s and our body just
Shuts down.
plummets.
Yep.
So
Yep.
we got to do better, and we got to take responsibility for where it is that we're going. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, it's
Yeah.
it's a long discussion. It's a lot that we got to discuss. But yeah, brother, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just going to this again, adding to the closure point is just that, yeah, what we're going to try to do, as we talked about before the show here, is get some other folks online that actually speak the same language as what we're talking about and can back it up with either the way that they're preparing food in their restaurant or advising their clients. But we want
Yeah,
to make sure we get some other people on the call. And so just to say that this is a part one of this discussion
yeah,
because it
oh
is
yeah,
so broad and because there's so much importance behind it that we want to spend a little bit more time on it. So I just want to say that.
absolutely. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, bro. But we got, like I said, we got so much we got to do. We got to get ourselves prepared, especially for this week to come. Tomorrow's gonna be hectic, man. So we
Yeah.
definitely want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. I
Yes.
know that a lot of us that feel another certain way about Thanksgiving, and we may even talk about that too. But at the end of the day, it's just an opportunity for us to just gather with our family and be appreciative and thankful for them. So I hope, and we definitely hope that you and your family have an amazing, amazing Thanksgiving holiday. Take advantage of every day. Take advantage of every moment. Be the change you want to see, and make sure you show love, especially to those that share your bloodline and your last name. So we love you to death, man. Thank y'all so much, brother. You got any last words before we get out of here?
Nope, just happy birthday. I was happy birthday. See, I'm sleeping, man. But happy Thanksgiving to y'all, and happy Thanksgiving to you, brother Mac. And we'll definitely catch up sometime, hopefully over the weekend or whatnot, and chop it up again. But until then, definitely everyone have a safe and wonderful family-filled holiday.
Absolutely. I appreciate you, man. But we're getting ready to get up out of here, man. Of course, as we always do, we give that quick motivational moment so you can have something that can fuel you as you get ready to fight your next level. Listen, the quote by Susie Cassim says, doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. Doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. We got to understand that at the end of the day, we have to learn how to believe in ourselves because self belief is the very foundation of being able to achieve our dreams. So we got to be able to stand on what we believe in because if we don't believe in ourselves, no one else will. But most of the times we'll find ourselves looking for validation in what we're doing or seek some kind of a sign that we're on the right path. And this is usually because all we want as human beings is to matter in this world. But to know that our life on this planet has not gone without notice in some form or another, but many a times we get discouraged along the way. But I want to let you know that there are three different ways that you can find belief in yourself, even if nobody else does in your life. The first thing is believe in the possibilities and understand that this is where we look. This is where we do look to others, but not seeking validation, but to see what is possible for us. Sometimes you just got to be able to see it to believe it. See someone else get it. See someone else drive it. See someone else live in it. Believe in the possibilities that whatever someone else can achieve, you can do the same. The second thing is believe that you are capable, because you got to believe that you can achieve something sometimes. But sometimes it takes blind faith. Sometimes you're not going to know it all. Sometimes you're not going to have all the answers. Sometimes you just got to believe that it is possible and that you are capable of getting it done. The last thing is believe in what you do. Knowing that you can get the results is the final step in self-belief. Knowing is belief with certainty. And oftentimes this comes from having a track record behind us. If you've done it once before, you know you could do it again. I want to encourage y'all today. Doesn't matter what you're dealing with or what you're going through. You got to believe, number one, in the possibilities. Number two, you got to believe that you're capable. And number three, you got to believe in what you do. Because you got to remember, doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. Stop doubting yourself. Stop believing it's possible and watch your dreams come to pass. We love you all. We'll see you all next time. Until then, be the change you want to see. Peace, love, and light.